All right, our next guest has dedicated her life to changing the human perception of sharks.
And after years of experience diving with sharks, she expanded her work into the political sector, successfully introducing shark fin bills into legislature.
Want to say hello and good morning and welcome to Stefanie Brendl. She is the founder of Shark Allies. Before we get into the politics, you live in Hawaii and you've got to actually have a shark diving business.
I had my shark diving business for 10 years, and now that the conservation work has kind of taken over my life, I actually moved it on to someone else to manage and sold the company and moved to LA.
Okay.
Aloha, by the way.
Thank you.
A lot of people are probably wondering, aren't you terrified of swimming with sharks?
No, I mean, I wouldn't be in the water if I was terrified, first of all, and second, you know, sharks are really not out there to get us. You know, that's a misconception that, you know, every once in a while there is an attack, but if sharks were after us, you know, we would see an attack every single day on every single beach because we're very slow and we're very, we're not natural in the water, so we would be a very easy target. And so I'm not terrified. This is much more terrifying than any shark, really.
Yeah, everybody looks at sharks as the big predators in the ocean, but why are they important, I guess, to the ecosystem, and also what kind of threats do they face?
Sharks are important because they're essentially the white blood cells of the ocean. They keep fish populations healthy because of the pressure of taking out the sick and the dying, and also making sure that only the fit survive. So they're important for sharks. For fish populations, and they keep a balance in the ocean. It's very much like on land where you would have wolves and bears as top predators. The ocean really depends on the apex predators to keep everything in order, and it's a job that we will not be able to replace once we lose sharks.
Well, you're involved with this documentary called Extinction Soup. Let's take a clip of that and then discuss.
Every year, an estimated 30 to 70 million sharks are killed to support a growing worldwide trade in their fins and other products.
Up to sort of the 1950s and 60s, the shark fin soup industry was pretty small, isolated to a few wealthy individuals. But then when we saw the rise of places like Hong Kong and Taiwan and Singapore, there was an increase in demand. But that increase in demand was absolutely dwarfed with the economic expansion of China. So now in China, from our surveys, it seemed like probably around 100 million people are eating shark fin soup in China alone. And so the scale and pace of the destruction of sharks has really gone up rapidly in the last 10 or so years.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking to look at.
Yeah.
Before we continue, though, here's a look at some of the actual numbers that you're talking about. Let's take a look at that.
I've been to ports in Japan where on a single day they landed 6,000 to 7,000 sharks. I've been to ports in Taiwan where a single boat has unloaded 10,000 fins off one trip. And when you consider the magnitude of these fleets that are fishing around the world, you quickly get an idea of the scale of this industry.
It's no different than killing an elephant for its tusk or dehorning a rhinoceros for its horns.
Wow, that image is incredible. I presume Shark Allies is helping with that. Tell us about that group.
Yeah, Shark Allies is a nonprofit organization for the conservation of sharks, and our focus is mainly on the shark fin trade because it is one of the biggest offenders. It is where we lose the most sharks currently. Up to 70 million sharks per year end up just in the fin trade, and many more for other shark products. So when you think about 70 million sharks, even if that number is a little lower or higher at some years, it's just way too many animals being taken out, especially if it is simply for an item that doesn't even provide nutrition. Shark fins have no nutrition. It's basically cartilage, and shark fin soup is a status symbol. It doesn't really nourish poor countries or poor families. It's really something that is served as a symbol of wealth.
All right, so a lot of sharks off both coasts of Florida. You're working on some legislation down there?
Yeah, because a lot of the coastal states in Hawaii and the western states have already passed fin bans, trade bans. We are now working in Florida because it is currently the hub for the U.S. fin trade, and simply because it has big ports and because of its location. So we're trying to get Florida in line with banning the trade and sale of fins, which then becomes critical for a national ban, which is the ultimate goal.
Well, mahalo for coming on
Yeah,
and
thank
telling us about this. And if you guys out there are interested in helping out with the campaign, there is a GoFundMe link, and so Stefanie's social media handle as well are on the screen right there, so take a look at that. And we'll also post that information on KTLA.com.
All right, thanks for coming in. And I got to tell you, I've been scuba diving, and you see sharks down there, and surprisingly, it doesn't really scare you. It's kind of odd. You're like, oh, there's a shark, and you go, he's fine.
Yeah, that's how it is.
That's the best attitude to have about it.
Thanks for coming on.